Hi everyone and welcome to my class. Today what we are going to discuss? Today we are going to learn about non-finite forms of verb. As we all know that children, there are two categories of verb, that is finite verb and non-finite forms of verb. Now here we are going to learn the difference between finite verb and non-finite forms of the verb. Now first of all, what are finite verbs that changes according to the subject and tense? That are called finite verb. And what are non-finite verbs that do not changes according to subject and tense? Let's take some examples. Here in first, I want to write a letter. In second, here is he wants to write a letter. He wanted to write a letter. In these all three sentences you can see here is subject I, here is subject he, and here is subject he. You can see that want, wants, wanted. That means that want is changing according to the subject, but here to write, again it is repeating to write. It is not changing according to the subject, and that's why to write is what? Non-finite forms of verb. Okay, a letter is what? A letter is object. So you can easily see the difference here that want is changing according to the subject, want, wants and wanted, and to write is repeating. It is not changing according to the subject and tense. That's why to write is what? Non-finite forms of verb. Now come to the next one. We all know that there are three categories of non-finite forms of verb. First one is infinitive, second one is gerund, and third one is participles. Now let's study one by one. First of all, infinitives. Okay, infinitive verbs are also known as two verbs. Infinitive verbs are also known as two verbs. Okay, there are two categories of infinitive verbs. First one is two infinitive verbs and second one is bare infinitive verbs. Now let's take one by one. See the first example. I played to win a match. He made me angry. Okay. Now in to infinitive, to is present, and in bare infinitive, to is absent. Okay. Look at the first example. I, what is it? It is subject. Played, it is what? It is verb. And to win, what is it? It is infinitive verb, that is non-finite forms of verb. And a match is what? It is object. So you can easily see here played, it is changing according to the subject. Okay, but here to win, it is not changing. Here is to is used. That's why these kinds of words, sentences are known as non-finite forms of verb. This is a non-finite form of verb. Now look at the second sentence. He made me angry. In this sentence, he made me angry. He, what is it? It is subject. Made, it is verb. And angry, what is it? Angry is verb. Okay, but which kind of verb? Non-finite form of verb. Okay, understood? Here to is not used. That kinds of verb is known as bare verbs, bare infinitive verbs. Clear? Now come to the next one, that is gerund. Now what are gerunds? Gerund verbs are those verbs which where ing is used, and although they are verb but behave like a noun. Let's take some examples. Reading is a good habit. In this sentence, what is a good habit? Reading. So here, although it is a verb, but it is behaving like a noun. That's why it is what? It is gerund verb. That means non-finite forms of verb. Swimming is a good exercise. What is a good exercise? Swimming. That's why here swimming is what? Swimming is again non-finite forms of verb, gerund verb. I hope you have understood this one. Now come to the next topic, that is participle verb. Now again participle verbs are classified into three categories, that is present, past and perfect. Present participle, past participle and perfect participle. Now let's see what are present participles, where ing is used and although they are verbs but behave like an adjective. Clear? Like he is writing a letter. In this sentence you can easily see, okay, is writing, what is it writing? It is here participle verb, okay, present participle verb. I like crying babies. In this sentence it is describing the baby. What kind of baby I like? I like crying baby. That's why this sentence, although it is verb but behaving like an adjective, it is behaving like an adjective. That's why these kinds of verb is known as non-finite forms of verb. Clear? Now past participle. Now what are past participles? Past participles, it also behave like an adjective, okay, but it is where some past forms is used here. Okay, let's take one examples. She placed the cut cake in the dish. Okay, here she placed is changing according to the subject, that's why it is verb. And the cut cake, and what kind of cake? Cut cake. Okay, here cut is verb, but here what is it? It is non-finite forms of verb. Past participle can be also used in passive voice. Okay, like the problems were solved. Here it is the problems. Here it is what? It is used as a passive voice. That's why it is non-finite forms of verb. Now let's see perfect participle. Okay, what is perfect participle? If we are combining with the past participle, then it forms perfect participle. If we are combining with past participle, then it forms perfect participles. Like for example, having bought a bicycle, he cycled home. Okay, in this sentence having is used here. Okay, bought, it is just using before verb. So again I have already explained you that if you are combining have plus past participle, this one is past participle, and these types of verbs are known as what? Are known as past participle, that is non-finite forms of verb. I hope you have understood this all. Okay, that's it for today's class. And what we have learned? We have learned about the non-finite forms of verb. Let's recap once more. Okay, non-finite forms of verbs are categorized into two categories, that is finite verb, non-finite verb. What are finite verbs? That changes according to the subject and tense. And what are non-finite verbs? That do not changes according to the subject and tense. Now we have taken some examples, like I want to write a letter, he wants to write a letter, he wanted to write a letter. In these all three sentences, want, wants, wanted, want is changing according to the subject and tense, but to write, it is not changing according to the subject and tense. That's why to write is what? Non-finite forms of verb. Again, non-finite forms of verb are divided into three categories, that is the infinitive, gerunds and participles. Now what are infinitives? Infinitives are two verbs where to is used, but they are of two categories. Okay, that is to infinitive and bare infinitive. Like for example, I played to win a match. Here to win what? Non-finite forms of verb. Here is infinitive. And he made me angry. In this sentence to is missing, that's why it is bare infinitive. Now let's take another one, gerund. What is gerund? Where ing is used and although they are verbs behave like a noun. Like reading is a good habit. What is a good habit? Reading. So here reading is gerund verb, that is non-finite forms of verb. Swimming is a good exercise. What is a good exercise? Swimming. That's why here swimming is what? Non-finite forms of verb. Now participles are subdivided into three categories, that is present, past and perfect participle. So present participle where ing is used and it behave like an adjective. Like I like crying babies. What kind of babies I like? Crying babies. What kind of baby it is? a crying baby. Okay, so it is describing the baby. Okay, that what kind of baby it is crying baby. That's why here is crying is used. Okay, now past participle, and past participle also behave like an adjective, like she placed the cut. Okay, the cut is what? The past participle, na, the cut cake in the dish. Now last one is, and it can be also past participles can be also used to form passive voice. Okay, now come to the perfect participle. What are the, how can we make perfect participles? By combining having, okay, plus past participle, like having bought. Okay, here it is combining with having with past participle. So that's it. We have learned these all things about non-finite forms of verb. Okay, in next class we will cover some more topics of spoken English classes and grammar classes. Till that, bye bye, have a nice day.